Hello everybody, welcome to Painting Snowmen. So I have already traced round my paper outline. So I'm just going to take off the pattern. You can see I've got the transfer paper underneath and there's the outline that I've traced using my pencil. So I'm now ready to start working on it, but I need to think about the order I'm going to work in. If you've got your teaching guides, that will show you which order we should use, but I'm going to work with the hat first. So I'm going to use some royal blue. Let me see whether I want royal or the ocean blue. I'm going to use probably that ocean. So I've got a brush here. It's been cleaned in my paint pot. What I'm doing is making sure that it's absolutely dry before I pick up that paint. So a little bit of paint on the corner of the brush and another little bit of paint on the other corner. Then we're going to swipe it backwards and forwards using that mopping action, so we've got lots of paint on here. And we then go and just trace that edge of the design that we've got, picking up a little bit more paint as I go along. And I'm just going to work on this one and just go right up to the edge of that pattern there. And let's just trace that one. So there's the first part of our design. Now we need to put in the snowman himself. So I'm going to work with a nice stippling brush for this. So these are one of the new ones that we've got. Everything that I'm showing you is available on Highlight Crafts. And we're going to use just a tiny little bit of brown paint. So I have got here the white on one side of the brush and the brown on the other. And when I pounce it, you can see those two colours together, but the white is the one that's really super important. I'm just going to pop that brush into my brush basin, not in the water. I've got it so that it is literally standing up, as you can see. So taking this paint, I'm now going to do his tummy first. So the white is going to the left-hand side, and I'm just going to stipple following the outline of his tummy. And then going across the design, I'm getting so that I've got the dark brown on the right-hand side. So we've got that there, and the white blending across to meet on the left. A little bit more of that white, so I've got it nice and clean, and that's going to go just there. Now we're ready to do his face. So again, picking up some white, very little of the brown because it's a much smaller circle. And I'm just going to make sure I'm gently going to the edge of his hat. And remember, this isn't the only hat that we could be using. We could be using the one that we do on our gnomes or our robins. They make great hats for snowmen. So there he is. There's his little round face already. And that little bit of shading on each side, which really just brings the design to life. So I'm going back to the original brush that I started with, which is this one, and into the blue that I was using as well. So the blue and the white, blending those colours, and we're going to put in the top of his hat. So I'm going to start up here, and I'm just letting that colour just sort of fade down here. I'm almost getting in some soft folds in the fabric. You can see a little bit of colour contouring going on there. I've turned the brush over so that now this side is the dark blue, and I've got that colour contouring going on again. And we'll just build that up so that we've got that detail there. And I'm just going to let that slide across so that it looks like we've got a couple of little creases in his hat. And then with the brush right on the chisel edge, just across the top there to make it nice and neat. And then finally, with a little bit more white on my brush, I'm going to come in here and put the brim in. So I'm just going to slide the brush round so that I'm going to go back over that once more just to make sure that I've got it all covered, and slide that round, and whoops, just make sure that white's blended nicely. There we go. And that's his little hat. Now we're ready to do his scarf. This is a fun part. So his scarf, we start off by doing the actual scarf, main scarf itself. So I'm just going to come across here and go down with that part of the scarf. So just making sure I picked up plenty of the blue because we don't want to lose that amongst the body. And then this one is going to be the second part. Now, right on the edge of the brush, I'm going to put in the little tassels. So I'm just touching to the brush itself. Then we're going to do a little bit of his neck detail for the scarf. And again, I've got the blue and the white on my brush. And I'm now going to start here, nice and round, and pull that round to there. And then once more, coming round from here, just over there. So we've got a nice little knot at the top as well. And we've got some detail on his scarf. Now we're ready to do his arms. So for his arms, I'm going to need some brown. And all I did was wipe the paint from the brush. I'm not using any water. And I'm just going to slide this just off in different directions, just giving him those little branches for arms, just wiggling a little as I go to get the direction of the detail of the design. Now we're ready to do his face. So he's going to have dark brown eyes. And we want them, choose the size that you want, but I want them quite close together. And he needs a red or an orange nose. So I'm going to use the pomegranate that I've got here. And you could do this using glue applicators if you have those. Or if you don't, you can use a brush like I am. And I am just going to touch it and do a slight little turn. So I'm just going to pick up a bit more paint so I can get it a little bit more substantial. But there's his little carrot nose. He needs some highlights on his eyes. So the tiniest little bit of white on each of those eyes. So there, you can see there. And then finally, his little mouth. And it's up to you what you use to add this colour in. But I'm just going to use a little bit there with the colour that I've already got on my brush. And to finish it off, oops, we need some snow. And rather than it going all over the place, oops, I've got some snow over there too. Let's just bring that into the design. I've had a little flurry of it. We'll put a little bit on his arms and on his hat. Just a little bit to finish it off, maybe a little bit on his scarf. And we'll go all the way along here until we decide where we want to crop into that for it to become our picture.
If you want to see more from Highlight Crafts, make sure you click the like button, subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below, and click the bell icon to receive notifications of all of our future content. You can also click here to see our latest video, or click here to see more videos like this one.